Hey everybody, I got a second LEGO Star Wars solo movie, Han Solo's Landspeeder set, to modify into a hypothetical view of what it may have looked like originally before it was modified and damaged as seen in the solo movie itself. And we've already seen it in trailers and such, and I absolutely wholeheartedly refused to make it simply symmetrical, to make it simply mirrored side to side, because too much evidence that I see looking at pictures of the actual movie prop, actual photographs of the movie prop, or one of the running movie props, suggests that this was never intended to be a symmetrical craft to begin with. Too much of what you see in the exposed area of the frame here does not match parts of the frame, not even just fascia and stuff that's added on and accessories and such, but what looks to be frame structure is fundamentally different on this side than it is on this. Not to mention the fact that the wing is strongly asymmetrical the way that it's set up, and I believe that wing was intended to be original, part of the original design. It could have been an aftermarket addition that was added many years before the solo movie, but it's obviously painted the same color and apparently at the same time as the rest of the body. So I'm going off the hypothesis that this blue color was original, and some of the stuff in the what we on Earth would consider the engine compartment, here it really isn't, but some of the stuff that sticks up on what we consider to be the hood, and also some of the stuff that's on the sides with some of the cabling and such, is modification. And so some of that would not have been there on the original, and I am also going with the hypothesis that it was not a symmetrical build in the first place. Just too much evidence suggests otherwise. So I went with the shape of the frame. I kept the shape of the frame going here, which is derived from this in its shape, and also you'll see that in the actual movie prop and in other renderings, more realistic renderings, and other toys as well. You'll see this sort of shape cut in diagonal, double diagonal cut in shape there. So I put panels kind of outside of that, continuing that shape along, cowled over the thrust engine, the left side, the porch thrust engine, if you will, and put in an intake over here on the side. I don't know if that's necessarily how it would have been done, but I liked the idea of putting a scoop there on the side. Let me move this one out so you can focus on just this. I like the idea of having a scoop there. I also like the idea of having an original factory hood scoop on this, like it would have been the equivalent of a muscle car, in old Corellia, so it would have had one of those devices that we see two parts of sticking out here. I think this would be like a doubled up one that was added from the aftermarket or just through custom modifications, and originally there was just one unit there, and it was smaller, and it was originally cowled over. It was originally faired over and covered with a factory hood scoop. So I needed to put that in, smoothed off the rest of this, fixed the damage on this side. Just those couple of panel areas that are clearly just missing here. You can see that on the movie prop as well. So just filled that stuff in, changed up the color for a couple items deeper inside to take out some of the dark tan that was visible there and make that look a little bit better. Added just a few pieces underneath to make it look a little bit better from the front. Added the suggestion of the one light here, or actually there are two, I think, on the movie prop. I'm just saying that was an original thing. Maybe originally there were supposed to be some additional lens covers for that or something, but in my view, in my design of the possibility of the past, that was there, and this was here as well. Just had a lens cover over it, brought the white down, brought the black down as well. Did something different with the stripe over on this side, and smoothed over just a little bit of the the spring-loaded shooters that are under there. I tried to keep as much of this original as possible and to use just pieces from the set. I actually got a pair of additional sets to put this together. I basically built the Lego stock version, most of it, until I got to this side. I didn't add on all the small details, but all of the key stuff I actually built and then started making changes from there. But I did have to add in quite a number of my own pieces, things that just didn't exist in one or even two kits. I also had to change out that gray over there, which just made no sense here. It's supposed to be just a continuous strip of blue, so here with the black it's just less noticeable. And added just a couple pieces in here as well. Still a little bit of dark tan showing there. Maybe I should swap that out. If you are interested in doing a symmetrical version of this, just because you want that, or if you believe that this was originally symmetrical, you can get two of this set. It's a little bit expensive, but you can get two of this set, and you can almost pull that off with just the pieces in two sets, because basically you would build the center, like the center and the base of it stock, and then you just mirror most of this side's build, most of the right side's build over to here, because by default, it doesn't really show up that well here, but the standard build has mostly studs on top construction on this side over here. There's a whole additional one brick width or one stud width of studs on top construction over here, whereas this side switches to studs on the side construction fairly quickly. So when I did my modification, I actually stuck with that. Could have gone either way. Either would have worked for the extra width that I added here, but I just added more plates on the side to fill in the same amount of space. But this is the side that you would want to duplicate if you're going for a symmetrical or at least semi-symmetrical build yourself. The wing, I think, is factory stock. If it's not factory stock, if it's aftermarket, then it was surely installed many years before the Solo movie. And I'm assuming that the entire thing was painted at the same time. Could be a factory paint job, could be a paint job done later on, but it was done pretty well, and I'm assuming with my take on this that it was the original factory paint, original factory wing, so I just kept that there and kind of went with the asymmetry of it, and basically just tried to repair this and take the mods off it. Take the mods off and put body panels back on it is mostly what I did here, and tried to keep as much of it original as possible. So this ends up being wider, thicker, bulkier. In Lego form, I think the shape that Lego did over here on the side is pretty good. Maybe they could have narrowed it up ever so slightly, but the real thing should be smaller than this still, but I think it's within a reasonable range of minifig compatible. Certainly when you put the figures in there, I think it looked pretty good proportion wise, and Lego minifigures are not accurately proportioned anyway, so I think they have a really good base here, and as I mentioned in my review, I think they did a good job of creating this build for the mass market, and I just built upon it. So that's that. If you think it should be symmetrical, that's cool. I didn't. If you want to build a symmetrical one, like I said, get two of the same set. You're going to need a lot of dark blue stuff, and you may need to add in some additional pieces as well to fill in some of the stuff, mostly because this is a little bit down on side pieces. You'll need to fill in this missing fairing area over here, and you'll need to do that twice, one for each side, in addition to replicating everything that's here. But the rest of it, I think, mostly work out with just the parts from two sets. Mostly, not entirely. But that's that. Just wanted to show that. It was something that I really wanted to do just for the heck of it, and so I did. now I'm going to move on to something else. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.